And good evening. How are we all doing today? And welcome to the first installment of the ERLS podcast. I am joined today by my good friend Teva
Hey, feels
and
good to be here.
Moggy. How are we doing, guys?
Hello there, guys.
And I tell you what, we've got something special for you today. We have got the elite and the pro playoff seedings, predictions, and loads of other stuff in store for you today. And what have we thought of today's league play, Moggy?
The league play so far has been incredible. I think there's been some major upsets, and there's been a couple of standout teams which I think are going to be upset by a couple of teams in the playoffs, in my opinion.
Yeah, go on. I mean, you have to look at some of the teams in the Elite League that have done so well. You know, your Warlocks, your Royals, who have just been solid the whole of league play, but it's a completely different story in playoffs. And I am expecting a couple of upsets. And some of these lineups we have coming up, especially on stream on Monday, is just simply special. I can see extreme upsets. And Teva, I mean, you're obviously a pro player, and the Pro League is known for its upsets. I mean, we had the Divinity 3-0 Enigma. We've had so many upsets on stream. Who do you think has looked strongest in Pro League at the moment during league play?
I think it's probably. I mean, Warlocks had a really good most recent week, winning both their games 3-0. But I think it's probably still no hope. You know, they beat Infinity. They beat. I think it was it Divinity they beat on the stream 3-1, but it was it was like close games. It's probably got to be no hope.
Yeah, they've done really well. I mean, Moggy, me and you have streamed plenty of pro games recently, and No Hope have just been simply incredible. But you can't take away from like the rise of Austrian Force, which has been simply incredible. The fact that they've not even had a roster change and they've risen and they've got themselves into playoffs on this late charge. It's been incredible the charge they've made into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they're one of the teams that you can't really count out. For me, especially in the Pro League compared to last season, is that there is definitely a closer skill level and a skill gap between the teams. So there isn't just one team that's really dominating. So I think Pro League has definitely got a lot closer in skill gap. And for me, you can't really count anyone out from the playoffs in Pro League. Everyone's just going to be a team that you don't really want to face.
No, exactly. And I think predicting the Pro League playoffs will be incredible. And guys, we have got something for you in terms of predictions. Later on in stream, we will be giving you guys the chance to win prizes by predicting the brackets of both the Elite and the Pro League. And this will give you a chance of winning Rocket League items. And it's going to be really, really fun. We've already got 4 predictions in from all the people who have done it. I'd just like to thank the stats team, especially over League Play, who have helped us basically sort all the stats out in such a short amount of time for this podcast today. And thank you very much, by the way, for Sel for the Twitch Prime subscription. I know he's watching today, but it's really nice. And no, going back onto League Play and moving on to Elites. Moggy, as an Elite player yourself, what have we seen, do you think, from the League Play in Elites that's really taken you by surprise?
For me, I think you've got to look at the fact of you have one standout team in Warlocks, and you've also got Zero there, but it's another close one at the top. I mean, you've got Warlocks who looked very strong throughout the league play. You've got Zero who looked very strong as well. But you've also had a couple of roster changes throughout the build up of league play and build up to the playoffs, which could take effect. As in, you see a big switch from with Key moving from Zero to Warlocks. Is that necessarily going to be what they needed? Potentially not, because we could see some of the smaller teams for me, such as Aztecs, who are very, very strong, could rise up. And I remember early on when I was playing for Ascendant that us and Aztecs, we beat them on the stream and they had a complete roster change. And it looked like they weren't going to be in playoffs. It looked like they weren't going to be strong at all. And yet they've got some brilliant results in the past few weeks. And I think they're going to be one of the big teams in playoffs.
No, definitely. And I think you have to look at form coming into the playoffs, because you get a lot of teams which sort of crawl into playoffs because they've had such a good start early on. But then you also get these teams, like we said before, with Austrian Force in the Pro League, Crest in the Elite League, who have won their last 7 games apart from losing to Royals. It's just, you have to watch out for these teams, and you do have your big names, but there has been some late challenges in both these divisions which will really change the shape up in these brackets. And what these late challenges also do is they create really interesting matchups, because generally they come in later on and get a low seed, meaning they get matched with high seed players, meaning you get some cracking first round games, which is what we have got coming up for you guys. There are some juicy, juicy ties. Now, Teva, if I was, obviously Primal didn't make the cut as I
Not even
said
close,
I'd bring
man.
it up. But what do teams need to do better? For those who didn't make it, I know there's probably a few of the GMs watching here. What could they be doing better to get into the playoffs, do you think? Why are teams in the playoffs? Is it the
I think
consistency, the
honestly, it's
skill?
probably it's scrimming. Like the teams who've made it are the teams you see in like the pro scrims chat every week. Like, hey, who are we scrimming? Like, what times we free? You know, you saw Infinity. I was scrimming Reflux yesterday. We scrimmed Warlocks a while ago, and the teams I see at the lower end of the team, the lower end of the leaderboard. I've never seen Supremacy ever ask for the scrim. Like the same with Fury and Sonic Wave. You know, you got to get yourself out there and practice as a team. Like some teams I know, like Reflux, they play together as ranked because they were a pre-made PS4 team. You just got to kind of get yourself out there and practice together as a team, so you get that synergy going.
It's interesting you say that actually, because you look at Chaos, who for me were one of the teams that were always top contenders and were always wanting to scrim, and yet they never actually made it to
But
playoffs.
they changed their team though halfway through. You know, halfway through the season. If you just they just destroyed all that good work when Arctic Mist and Blueth left, you know, because Mitt and Hyudo and Rox hadn't played together before, so they don't have the synergy, you know.
But you've also got to look at, it's not exactly Rox's fault in that case, because I
No, it's
think.
not Rox's fault there, but like
But then you
that's
look at, I was gonna say, you look at other teams as well, and they've changed their lineups. I think it's literally just a case of the biggest thing was synergy, and I think um, one thing you mentioned with the scrims and everything is that you could build on that synergy, and I think that's one thing that maybe Chaos struggled with when they switched the roster, was it didn't have the same synergy, and although how much they tried to improve it, just didn't work out.
yeah, like when we played it was the penultimate week of playoffs. We played the Hyudo Mitt Rox lineup, and they didn't have like the same really strong synergy that they had when we played them at the beginning of the season when it was Rox, Blueth, and Arctic Mist, and that was only 2 weeks into the season. And they had really good synergy right back then, and
No,
that was, in my opinion, better primal roster, you know.
no, definitely. We've got some early shade thrown in the podcast, which has riled up chat slightly. But moving on quickly, in about 5 minutes, guys, we're going to be playing. I know Shimmy's in chat typing away here, but Shimmy has made us something incredible, a hype video to get us sorted out. It's so good. And then we will be starting with the Pro League setup, and it's going to be incredible. I'm really looking forward to this season of playoffs. And just to give you guys a quick run through of what's going to be happening in terms of the media team side, we are looking to be streaming every single day next week. And I've been speaking to a lot of the GMs trying to plan stuff. And we have already got a full stream rota for Monday and Tuesday. It's going to be incredible. So keep tuning in, guys, on the daily. See what's happening. Look at the teams you have to play. And I will be in touch with all the GMs trying to get as many as you guys on stream as possible. It's going to be a really fun 2 weeks. Now, Moggy, question here for you, because I know obviously you've been playing quite a bit, but I know some teams don't like being on stream because I think it applies too much pressure. Do you think stream can affect a team positively in some ways? Do you think some people thrive off the stream? Because you see like Warlocks Elite, who people always say we stream too much, always do well on stream.
Yeah, I think it's also a case of you have teams like Warlocks Elite who will always strive on stream. They always strive with pressure, and they always perform very well. But then the other thing is, right, you've also got the lower teams that will strive with that as well, because they think, look, we've got nothing to play for. We're on stream. Why don't we at least show what we can do on stream? At least then, if people can see what we can do, they'll be more afraid of us in the future. So it also allows those guys to step up and actually perform very well on stream and actually make a statement.
I mean, didn't Optimize do that to Omega at the end of last season? Because it was the final week of playoffs, and optimized are already out, and they've messed up Omega's chances of making it through by winning on stream. That's kind of an example of that.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. No, definitely. I think it's going to be really, really. And I mean, chat. Who are we sort of? Who's our ideas for early favourites for the Pro and the Elite League? Type them in, and we'll read them out. Obviously, don't put your own team like most of you will do straight away. But no, and whilst you guys are putting rewards in chat, there are rewards up for grabs, and we will get onto this later. But just before we start with the Pro, I'd just like to finish with Moggy, before we go on to brackets, before we even look at brackets, who would you say is your favourite and your pick for Elite League and Pro League? And I'll ask Teva the same question after this.
This is gonna be difficult. See, Elite for me, you've got to look at Warlocks. I think they're the big team. But for me, as a player that has played a lot of the players in the Elite League, and I've played a lot of teams, I think it does fall between two teams for me, and none of them are actually Warlocks. You've got Zero. Now, for me, I've played Classic quite a bit in six mans. I've played with Milne quite a lot, and I've played with Lifesphere quite a lot. And for me, those three, if they can get the synergy together, they will be a very big team. And the other team that I will have to say is got to be Royals, because you look at every other big team, and you've got people that are very strong in certain aspects. You've got obviously Boy School for Warlocks. You have got players like Classy for Zero. But for me, with the Royals, you have got Will, who's a very standout player, but they're just like the Dignitas. They're the team that always seems to be solid no matter what. They haven't got a standout, amazing player that is very mechanically skilled, who's very quick on the ball, that sort of thing. But they're all so well defined that they are. And by the way, guys, I'm not meaning Dignitas this season. I'm sort of talking previous couple of seasons where they've literally, you don't want to face them. They're a team that, you know, if you have to face them, they're going to be very tough. And then Pro, you've got to look at no hope for me. I mean, there's a couple of teams in there that are going to have a good chance with, like, such as Warlocks again. You've got Reflux. You've got Infinity, who's probably have one of the best mechanically skilled players in Pro League in Surf Delight. But for me, you've got to look at No Hope. I've actually played these guys in another league as well, and they are very solid as a team. And their chemistry, I think, is just what's going to take them over other teams. So for me, I've got to say No Hope for Pro, and you're looking, I think, Royals or Zero for Elite.
Right, Teva, same question to you. And then after this, we will be releasing Shimmy's incredible video and the Pro bracket to start with. But Teva, to finish.
I haven't seen that much of Elite, definitely, because I've only streamed a couple of the games, and other than that, that's the only stuff I've caught. But the team that really caught my eye is Insanity, because when I was watching them play, particularly Enrong just seemed so nutty. Like, as a Pro League player, I know everyone in the league kind of looks insane to me, except for Solar. But, like, Insanity just seemed like they had, I mean, they managed to make it work even with like playing their sub in some games. Like, they had really clean rotations. It was what it kind of looked like to me. I mean, Pro League, I feel like anyone who's made playoffs can win, but I think you've kind of got to be looking at Infinity and No Hope for like really stepping it up. But Reflux have made like a really good charge later in the series, so you could see one of them winning. I guess if I had to say a name, I think it would probably be Warlocks, because they showed some really strong play earlier in the season. And I mean, I know No Hope have the experience in other leagues, but will that mean it won't matter to them as much when they're in playoffs? You know, will they care quite as much? Warlocks had some really good stats earlier in the season.
Yeah, there are definitely. It's just, can they carry it through into playoffs? And now, guys, I think the time has come. I will now hand over to Shimmy and his incredible editing skills, and we begin the countdown for the playoffs.
Still pushing through, trying to break through the deadlock, but Wilbar will put the fourth in with an absolutely fake once more. He's done it.
As time, Egypt is fate. Sturdelight's flicked another, and Ninja will slam it home. That's a beautiful assist. Not quite giving up. It is quite a hard task for a centre combatant. Jaffa, what a double tap from that was, I mean, that first 1-2, it's a great shot and goal. And a touch from shot. It looked like Tether had.
And here we are. I present to you the pro playoff schedule, and we have some games for you. We're going to start off in number one. Game number one is Shamrock against Crest. Moggy, Teva, what do we think?
I'm so hyped for this game. It's going to be such a good series. Shamrocks have made such a good comeback as the season went on. Because I'm pretty sure I need to check this because I don't have the stat on the screen. But I'm pretty sure Shamrocks were kind of dropping back a little bit at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, no, they are an absolute. It's going to be Crest managed to get in. They've just picked themselves up a little bit, and it's gotten much better. But then I'm going to move quickly down into one of the ties that I have been looking at a lot recently, Divinity Royals. Now, you've got some key players in Divinity. You've got Wolfie, although they took a loss against Crest and Reflux recently, I believe they can get back. And against Royals, who are a top team in Pro League at the moment, that's going to be an incredible game. And they go on to play Warlocks. Now, interestingly, the winner of Shamrock versus Crest will have to go on and play No Hope. There was a big fight for this top seed towards the end, with No Hope taking it over Infinity, who I believe get a more difficult game, getting the winner of either R5 or Shadow. But Moggy, if I was to ask you to pick one of those games, which one do you think is going to be the most exciting to watch here? Because that's a lot of very big games.
There's some great games there. For me, and I'm not trying to be biased with this because even though I'm on Shadow, it's got to be Rocket Science Shadow. Mainly because you look at Rocket Science and you look at their team. You've got Wizzo, you've got Chop Chop, you've got P-Dubs, and you've got Arctic Mist. For me, those are four solid guys, and they are individually they are very skilled. For me, Wizzo, whenever I've seen him and whenever I cast him on stream, he's always been one of those top guys for the shooting percentage, and his shooting accuracy is top dog. However, for Shadow, you do have a Mill being a sub, but you've also got Mutz, you've got DX, and you've got Leon. And for me, I've played with Leon in another league. I've played with DX loads, and I play with Mutz quite a bit as well. And although they haven't actually been doing very well in the past couple of weeks, I honestly think if they get their act together, they potentially could be one of the big teams to try and knock off, because Leon and DX are two outstanding attackers, and Mutz for me is one of the best defenders in Pro League. So if they perform, I think they can really pop off and create some damage for Rocket Science.
I mean, the issue for Rocket Science, if you look on their stats, they've actually got minus goal differential. Like, if they're gonna, that might be from earlier in the season when they have a different roster, but like they're gonna have to clamp up on the defense if they're gonna make it in playoffs. So you compare to every other team that's got positive goal differential.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really interesting. I mean, Teva, what do you think? I mean, personally, I'm actually interested in this Altercation Austrian Force. This is a massive game here, because you actually have Austrian Force, who I was talking about, making this late charge and Altercation, who after making a big roster change actually ended up becoming a really strong team, beating Crest when they were on form, beating other big teams. And this is a matchup that I am looking forward to, going on to play Reflux, another one of those teams who have been solid throughout, and I'm really looking forward to this. And not to forget here, guys, this is the winners bracket, so I will be sending out the entire bracket in about 5 minutes, where you guys will be able to look how the loser bracket is going to work, and how just everything will work. And it's going to be really nice, because also trying to predict that, I'm already struggling just looking at this. It's going to be so difficult. I mean, okay, so let's say you wanted to have a go at predicting this, Moggy. Who would be your pick to play No Hope in the first game?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's really tough. I think I've got to go with Shamrock. I just think Villas is going to be too good for Crest.
Rip. Right, okay, moving on to the second. Tether, Divinity Royals. A very, very big matchup there.
I think the thing that's going to come into that matchup the most is probably just going to be momentum, you know? Like, I know Divinity kind of picked themselves up in the last week, but if you're having that good a season and it kind of goes to pieces towards the end, that's going to kill your confidence. It's not going to matter that you won a couple more games towards the end. You're still going to be sitting there like, "Ooh, can we do this?" So I think if they can make a good start in that series, then yeah, they can definitely take it because they've shown they've got the skill. But if they kind of come into it and they're not sure if they're playing well enough, and then they lose the first game, that might just blow out any confidence they had. So I could see it being it's definitely gonna be a close game like all of them, but I couldn't predict that one if I tried.
And then the winner goes on to play Warlocks with George in top form at the moment. It's crazy.
Big
I
rip
mean,
for them.
exactly. And moving on to R5 Shadow, this is one of the games that we have got coming up for you on stream alongside the Divinity Royals and Altercation Austrian Force. 3 of these pro games will be on stream for you guys in the first 2 days. And R5 Shadow. Now, Shadow are an interesting one, Moggy, aren't they? Because they had a very good charge throughout the mid of the Pro League, and they've sort of dropped off again. And I remember streaming them, and they really struggled with that defense. Whether they can get that sorted quick enough will be a big telling feature of the scoreline in this game. Because Shadow going forward with Leon are very strong, but if they don't sort out this defense and the rotation, I can see them losing to R5.
Yeah, 100%. They need to sort out their defense, but I have to admit, being a Shadow player and knowing the players on Shadow Pro, if they pull together and be the team that I know they could be and the strength that I know they possess, then in my opinion, they could even sweep Rocket Science.
No bias in there whatsoever, yeah? So no, that is what the pro playoff schedule are looking like. And does this affect any of your guys' original thoughts on your favourites or anything else? Because I have a feeling, I don't know why, I've just got this little feeling that Austrian Force could go quite a way in this playoff. Just from watching them play and having a couple of, games against them, they've improved so much. And if they keep improving it the way they're improving it, Altercation Austrian Force will be a massive game in that game. And just to give you guys an idea of when these are getting scheduled, we are hoping to have the Altercation Austrian Force on this next Monday at 8:30 alongside Divinity Royals at 6:15. 2 pro games there, which will really, really have interesting games, and Monday stream is looking very good with 2 very tasty elite games on there. So is there anything else you guys have got to add about the pro? Or
Yeah, like what you were saying about Austrian Force then, it's the same for Altercation as well. Reflux is statistically the worst top seed, like win-loss ratio wise. Like that's an advantage for
apart from Warlocks?
Okay, yeah.
Warlocks
No. Warlocks have got haven't Warlocks got a same? No, Warlocks have got a better record. Wait, no, they've got a worse. My bad.
worst record, therefore.
You're trying to make a point with stats, you get your stats wrong.
Well,
500 IQ.
the big number 4 next to Warlocks would indicate their 4th seed.
Oh my god, I'm such a noob. I am good at reading stats off a page.
So no, I'm gonna take this to chat quickly. What do you guys think? And give me some predictions. So let's have Shamrock Crest first. Write in which team you guys think are gonna win. I'm gonna take a general sweep here and see what people are doing. So we've got Easy Crest, Shamrock, a couple of Crests coming in here after their late resurgence, and it's because I'm in it as well. So that's 5 goals, easy 3-0 sweep.
It's looking like Shamrock, It's looking like Shamrock.
Nah, it's all Crest.
Sham are gonna, even if Sham won their first round, they gotta play No Hope, and
Yeah.
Shamrock couldn't beat Infinity, and Infinity couldn't beat No Hope.
Don't forget,
So
guys, you lose your one game in the playoffs, you're still alright. You have the losers bracket. It's just like RLCS, and then obviously there's the bracket reset in the final.
Yeah, but like losing in that just the second round, that is a big loss. You want to try and win that match.
No, but I think actually in terms of Reflux have got one of the most difficult seedings for the top seed there. I think that's a very difficult bye game to come into, and sometimes I think we were talking about on stream, the bye game can actually negatively affect you because the teams who have won before will be super high on confidence because they've won the first round of playoffs. So I think we could see possibly an upset.
Probably definitely one upset in that
Yeah,
round,
definitely
but
one upset.
I don't think it's going to be on no hope, guys, for Shamrocks.
Cape, I remember watching him on stream. He was incredible.
Cape's horrible to play against, man. You hit the
defensive
ball at the
rotation.
net and he just kind of teleports there, it feels like sometimes.
Yeah,
He's
no,
always there every time.
really strong. I mean, Vilex has come in and just said we've beat no hope. Yeah, so people do beat no hope, and it's just will the pressure get to teams? Because teams perform differently in league play. You will see teams crumble. I mean,
I
people.
think the thing is, 2 teams have beat no hope. And oh my god, Shamrock's the team who beat no hope. Okay, I take it all back, guys.
Exactly. Juicy games. But Shamrock have got to get past me and the mighty Crest as well, so depends what happens. Anyway, so shall
Crest
we, if
carrying
you
you.
guys are happy with the pro, shall we move on and release the elite playoff schedule?
Yes.
Moggy can't wait.
Yeah.
Chat can't wait. This is going to be really okay. And we are bringing it in now, guys, and this is incredible. Some of these games we have now. So, where do I start? Well, I think I know exactly where I'm going to start at the top. Triumph Aztecs, Moggy.
This is going to be like this one, like compared to the other games, and there was a couple of good games that come up. For the first round games out of Pro and Elite, this game for me is going to be one of the biggest and one of the best games because you've got Aztecs for me who are recently with their change up in lineup, they are very strong. I played them I think it was the second to last week, and they were very good. And you're looking at Triumph as well. And Triumph for me, they seem to drop off, but they sort of brought it back a bit. And you've got players like Ravenly, Cow, and Falcon Gamey, and that is a very strong lineup. Probably one of the best all-round lineups there is. So for me, Triumph v Aztecs is going to be one of the best games in the first round.
I know. I mean, Teva, what's screaming out there for you? Let's have the thoughts.
I mean, I don't know much about Elite, but can we get an F in the chat for whoever has to cast Insanity versus like that's gonna suck for them.
Funnily enough, Insanity versus Infinity is not being casted. I can tell you.
The media team will be grateful for that, you know.
Yeah, I know. There was no bias in that whatsoever. No. So we have on Monday at 7 o'clock we have Triumph Aztecs as we were talking about, and then one that I'd like to move on to at 7:45 we have Fury against Crest, and this is an interesting one. I know Crest is obviously my team, but you have to look at Crest, and they have been very strong recently. I mean, if you look at their recent records, they have like I said before, I think it was 7 games they've won since their roster change, bringing in Frosty, Prizley, and I think it's Mezzo. And they've done really well at the moment. But Fury are a solid team, and that is a monster setup there. And Fury being one of the top seeded teams behind Insanity, and that's incredibly close. But then you've got to look at some of these, I mean, the top teams which have gone through and have got to the bye. Warlocks, Royals, Zero, and Cauliflower Esports. But Moggy, what do we think about the team in general? What do you think? Which team do you think will be putting the pressure on for the final in this situation?
You've got to look at it's going to be you're going to look at Warlocks, you're going to look at Royals, you're going to look at Zero. For me, they're going to be 3 of the teams that people are going to instantly look at and be like, they've got the best shout. But you've also you've got the lookalikes of Triumph vs Aztecs. The winner takes on Warlocks, and for me, any of those teams could potentially force Warlocks into mistakes, and it could knock them down to the lower bracket. You've also then got Austrian Force and Supremacy, and for me, Supremacy is very strong. They even beat Zero in the last couple of weeks. So they've actually performed really well. So I can see Supremacy beating Austrian Force, and potentially they could take Royals to a game 5, or maybe even knock them down to the lower bracket as well. And then you're looking at Insanity Infinity. That is going to be like a mid-range game. I feel that's going to be in the middle of the park. That is going to be whoever just performs on the day. And then Fury versus Crest. Fury, I think, is going to take that just over Crest, mainly because if you look at their division, you've got 4 wildcard spots you had for this playoffs. 2 of them were taken by the Castillo division. So that just proves how close it was in the Castillo division, how tough it was for the teams, and the fact that they only came 1 win behind 0 is very, very good. So for me, I can't really call a team to win it because there's so many good teams in the elite, especially in the playoffs. But I can really see some upsets, and I'm even potentially looking at maybe Warlocks and Royals getting taken down to the lower bracket.
Wow, that's a big call. And interestingly, I'm just going to move on slightly to chat right now, who have been abusing me because I called Cauliflower Esports, because I refuse to cast that name, and I will do for the rest of playoffs because I cannot pronounce it whatsoever. And whoever made that name did not think of the poor casters who have to try and pronounce it. And as punishment, your logo is also not allowed on the playoff schedule.
Wait,
But
Moggy, didn't you like 5 minutes ago predict Royals to win the win playoffs, and now you're predicting them to lose in the first round?
I'm not predicting them. I think Royals can still get to the finals. What I'm saying is that Supremacy could knock Royals down to the low bracket. In my opinion, I don't think they can. I think it will be a Royals, but there is a potential to see that they could get knocked down. But it's Elite League, man. Anything can literally happen. Like, we've seen some upsets throughout the league. It literally could happen in playoffs.
I think if it's going to happen anywhere, it's going to be playoffs because like there's more pressure in playoffs.
definitely. I mean, Moggy, how far was Shadow off the playoffs for Elite?
It was quite a bit. I was quite disappointed actually because this is where I'm probably getting a lot of hatred, but I feel I was the one that let Shadow down. We didn't have the best of start, obviously. When I switched over, we literally had a brand new roster come in. So we was, I think it was about 1 to 5 or 1 to 7 before we even started. So we finished 7 to 13. So I think we could have potentially gotten there. I mean, Noah and Cynical for me, brilliant players, and they deserve to be in the playoffs. And if they were in the playoffs, I seriously put those guys to do really well because they are a very strong team. However, it felt like for me, it literally felt like I was the issue there. I felt like I came into Shadow and I wasn't able to give them the boost and actually help them perform to get into playoffs. So for me, it felt like it was me that let them down. However, credit to all the teams that made playoff. There's some very, very strong teams in there. So it was going to be a tough one for us, but unfortunately, it felt like it was me that let them down. But it happens. Come back next season, win the title, easy.
It's all right, Moggy. I'll get the violin out and we can start playing for you. It's all right. No,
thank you.
but no, I am. It's going to be a really good playoffs to watch, and it'll be really good to stream it and do everything else. Now, what I'm going to do is moving on a tiny bit. I don't want to move on too quickly because I know we've got quite a lot of time still, but I'm going to send out the link for you guys now to predict your bracket. So what you need to do is you just follow the link that I am now posting in the Twitch chat now. You can go on there, hit predict, and plug in all your predictions. At the end, write your Discord username as the title, and just put predictions at the end or something. And basically, the winner or the person with the most amount of points who predicts the most will receive a prize of some sort at the end when we realise how many people will actually be willing to donate a prize. But I can assure you that me and Moggy and Teva will probably get it all wrong because we normally do.
Every single game, boy.
Literally, I mean, I predicted Divinity to win the Pro League and the top of the team.
Feels bad, man.
Feels bad indeed. They could still win it.
I mean, theoretically, I thought I had a good Elite League team, so like I clearly don't have the greatest mind for this.
Are you a GM as well?
Yeah, I'm a GM, man. I GM Primal.
Oh wow.
Didn't have the best run of it getting like on either side, but yeah, I was.
So speaking about successful GMs, I'm gonna just go for a couple and congratulate the GMs of, well, first of all, I think Warlocks are officially the best franchise this year in terms of seeding. So
Rigged,
well
question
done
mark?
to Bridus and Boys School who have done really well. And just an added on thing, I mean, Teva, you were telling me, Boys School is I can't resist talking about Boys School once or twice on the stream. But he's done well recently in the top 100 rankings, Teva, hasn't he?
Yeah, I was looking at the lead. I mean, I was told by someone else. That's why I checked. But you go look at the leaderboards, and Boys School Kill is 11th in solo. leveling solo standard at the moment.
I mean, that is
It's
crazy.
It's just insane. Like what? When's he getting on a pro? When he's getting on a proper pro roster, you know?
I mean, what's that above Fruity? A couple of the PSG
Yeah.
players up there with NRG, some serious players, and you never know.
It's insane.
I've had some questions briefly about the prediction thing. I'm not sure if you can do it on your phone, Aces. You might have to wait till you get home on the computer. I will post all the links, guys, on the media channel area, so you can all do that. I'm not sure Bridus or let me put it on the announcements, because I've already had my announcement for this
Just ping
season.
everyone again.
Yeah, I've
Be a
just
rebel.
literally done everything. Just spam the pings, especially
All
all
the
the poor
pings.
GMs. I've pinged a lot of GMs today, but no, definitely. So what do we think of Austrian Force Elite Team, Moggy? It's an interesting one, and for those of you guys who don't know, just to get it in, Austrian Force have done well, but just slightly moving to a team with the same name, Aeon. I think it's Aeon Esports or something, were actually meant to get in, and a lot of people who were doing their sort of playoffs, trying to make their own playoffs, put Aeon in, which is why we've seen some changes. And they got out, I believe, because they didn't play their sub enough, which is a rookie mistake for a GM, Moggy, isn't it?
It is, and I think and that was one of the things that when the rule got introduced, I think a lot of people were interested to see if teams would actually lose out from playoffs because of that rule, whether they would lose games because they had to play a sub or something like that. But the fact they didn't make it because they didn't play the sub enough games, really, I think is just a bit of poor management and a bit of poor judgment to try and get Dotty to play the best team as much as possible. Is it a situation as well, though, that if they had played their sub for enough games, would they be in the situation they would have anyway? Would they have made it if they had played their sub? So there's two sides to it, but it's just you with the rules, guys. If you are a gym, you've got to make sure you're aware of them, because literally it is the worst feeling ever to make playoffs but not getting through because you missed one simple rule.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, moving towards a team like Insanity and Infinity, I mean, we talked about the difficulty casting it, but who would be? It's an interesting matchup actually, with Insanity just sneaking in on win rate into the playoffs. Do you think it's obviously Infinity will be the favourites? No, sorry, Insanity will be the favourites, and I'm already struggling already with Insanity and Infinity. It's taken me 5 minutes, but
Insanity feels good.
Infinity, tongue twisters. My voice is bad enough already, but
The F's were for you trying to talk about the game.
yeah, literally. But key players. I mean, who are we looking for to pick up? Obviously, Boy School Q in the Elite is gonna most likely be our top scorer for Warlocks. Who else are we looking at for key plays, stream highlights? Moggy, especially because I know you're the Elite team specialist on the media team.
I think Zero are very good with their team plays, so I think they're gonna. If they get the team passing plays going, I think they're definitely a strong force. You've got Will for Rules. He's a very, very good player, so maybe he's not known for his mechanics, but I know he can pop off when he needs to. And then you've got players for the likes of In Fury. I know they're very good with their passing plays. You've got Supremacy. I know especially you've got Cyrax, who's for me very, very strong player, and he's mechanically quite good, so maybe he'll be able to get a couple of big goals. And then you've got JT for Infinity, who everyone knows about JT. He's insane. MVP from last season, so we're expecting big things from him as well. Insanity, I know Emrong and Zerker, Jaffa, they're quite good with their plays, and maybe they're start to pick it up and get a few nice plays. You've got Triumph with Ravenly, who's very, very mechanical and really good. With the bump plays especially, so maybe you'll see some physical plays coming from her. But for me, it's a case of there are so many good teams that literally you can have one team pop off for the whole playoffs, or you can have literally teams pop off segments. So I've got a feeling there's going to be a lot of great goals, a lot of great pass plays. And the one up team I'm especially looking out for is Zero, because I know the players well, and I know that if they get their passing plays going, they're a strong force.
Yeah, they were definitely a very, very strong team, and I've really enjoyed just covering the Elite League this season. We obviously saw it was a lot. I mean, you were around. Were you around last season, Moggy?
Yeah.
What was the sort of? I wasn't there, but what was? Did one team sort of dominate? I'm not really sure, but this seems a lot closer than it would have been last season.
Especially for if I'll go for Pro League because I was in Pro League last season. Pro
You
League was
dominated Pro League, man, last season.
basically Pro League. There was a standout team, and it's basically me, Jordan Fish on 0. Elite League. I would say I'd rest say there was a dominating team in tournament. Because they literally they were lower seeded in the playoffs due to forfeit losses. So for me, if they have actually played all their games, I think they would have been higher seeded, would have been much better. So you had the likes of I think it was a Shadow Tournament final, and Shadow you had Lice, Milne, and Pigeon, and they were a very strong team. But for me, Tournament were just solid throughout the whole season. So this season, teams have got much better with skill, and they were much better with class. So there's not much of a skill gap between any of the leagues, which is brilliant because you get more action, you get better action because you know you're not going into games saying, "Oh, this team's definitely got it, that team's going to win." Obviously, it's a lot closer. So I have to give props to everyone who's playing this season because you've all stepped up to make that skill gap closer, and it's much better than last season for me.
Yeah, no, it is, definitely is. And I'm just going to run you guys through a couple of things, especially for just some general information about the playoffs. I've had quite a lot of people asking me. So basically, what's going to have to happen is I've been speaking to, obviously, I've been trying to run the media team side of things, but now that we've announced the seedings, what we're going to try and do is, so we'll try and get as many of you on stream as possible. If we can't get you on stream, the two GMs of the two, I'll tell you guys if we can't fit you in stream, and the two GMs will just talk to each other and schedule like you would normally. Rounds 1, 2, and 3, which if you look on the links that I sent you, or the ones that I'm now going to put in media channel on the server, will have to be played by Monday to Thursday, I believe, or was it Wednesday? It's on the announcements. So yeah, just keep an eye out and just be careful and make sure your teams are all available. But it's always a bit of a rush, Moggy, but it's sometimes better. It keeps the excitement running throughout the whole week. And Teva, what would you prefer to have this is just a general question, I'm not saying we should, but would you rather have a spaced out playoffs or one like we've got now where it's, you have your best of fives to get there, and then I believe it starts getting best of 7 for semi-finals? I'm not sure on that, but I'll ask. But anyway, Teba.
I mean, as long as you can get all the games streamed, I'm down to have it run faster because you don't lose the hype in the same way. If you've seen a team play 2 days ago and you get to see them again later in the tournament, that's gonna be like really hype if you've seen those games close together. I'd rather as a viewer, I'd rather watch a tournament that's really packed in together.
It is definitely I mean, for the people who haven't made the playoffs, such as yourself, Teva, just like to rub that in a little bit. Oh, Moggy and you, wasn't it? Whoops.
Oh, wow.
It's all right though. I did, but we won't go there. But yeah, it's definitely good to watch, and I think the streams will be really, really lively, just in general. So let's move on to chat a little bit, because I know we've not really involved you guys too much. What would you like to see? Who are you sort of thinking? I'll stick with the Pro League for now, because we've not really involved you guys too much. But what's your key games? And we'll sort of read out. We'll shout you guys out. We'll talk about it. And are you predicting any upsets? We'll start with where perhaps could you see an upset happening in the Pro League? Because I know myself, I could be looking at Royals beating Warlocks, and perhaps maybe R5 beating Infinity, and that's what I could see. There could be some really, really interesting games, and R5 are on the charge at the moment, and they've done really well. I mean, you've got both R5 and I think so Warlocks. I believe R5 on both. Oh, R5 did not. R5 didn't make Elite, but there's quite a lot of franchises who have done really well. And as a GM yourself, Teva, what do you think the key is to have. You see, a lot of franchises have actually got both their teams in the playoffs. What do you think the key is as a GM to get both your teams through to the playoffs?
I mean, Brydos has clearly shown that the only way is to actually just form your own league and do that way. Now, I think it's kind of I assume it's knowing the people you're signing, like knowing that you're signing people who are going to stick around. They're not going to jump teams loads. Like they're going to stick around and play really well. I could see you have some issues. Like I had some issues with some players who want to take a break in the middle. That's like really disrupting to like for team to like getting the team play going and stuff.
It is definitely. And interestingly, when I did my prediction, I've already completed mine already for the Elite League. I actually had Crest coming through up through the losers bracket, and
Of
a
course you did.
final of I did, of course, and a final between Crest and Warlocks with interesting rounds in, especially because it's a lot easier for teams that obviously go into the winners bracket. I mean, that's self-explanatory, but I can see Warlocks doing really, really well. But we all know what Warlocks are like. And Moggy, me and you have streamed Warlocks on multiple occasions. What do you see when Warlocks, they can sometimes struggle to get into a game, but once they're in it and once they find a gap, they exploit it and they score so many goals. And do you think they will be able to do that against much stronger teams such as Insanity, Infinity, and the playoff teams?
I think they can. I just think it depends on how the other team really takes it. I mean, if the other team can make sure they try and knock off any pressure, or even just withstand the pressure to the point and just get them on counterattacks, even then, if they're getting close with counterattacks, Warlocks are going to struggle because they're going to think we cannot push too far, otherwise we're going to get countered here. So it's going to be, I think they can, however, it's just going to be much more difficult, and it's going to be much more unpredictable as to whether they will win by a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, Aces was just to bring it. I know I'm zipping back and forth between Pro, but Aces have said that Reflux Infinity could be a breaking point in the playoffs, and that could be really, really close. And I don't actually believe that there is a standout team. I know people say, in the elites, Warlocks, Royals, and Zero, and all that, but teams have done really well throughout, and I think especially in the Pro League, it's down to just how well you play as a team and how well you can take the pressure, because we obviously have the MMR cap, which I know people complain about because we get the natural progression. But I really think that if a team has a good rotation and communicates really well, such as teams like Warlocks, and No Hope are a prime example of that, with Kate being one of the best defensive players we've seen in a long time in the Pro League, do you think, Tether, that would you pick a team that's got a really mechanically skilled player base, people like Serve Delight, or would you rather have a team of sort of like your turbo pulsers who are like your mechanically skilled, do the dirty work? What would you rather sort of? I know you'd want a mix normally, but if you had to pick between the two, what
For
would you go
league
for?
play, for a round robin system like league play, I'd want good rotations. For playoffs, I want the Serve Delight team, man, because like you want in playoffs, it's just about you don't care about being a consistent team. You got to beat that team on the day. So I want all the mechanics I can get in playoffs to just pull off the upset of the big team, Because if you're not a top team, I mean, if you're a top team, you've probably got the mechanics. But if you're not, you need that dice roll chance to win the game rather than the consistency you need in league play.
Yeah, definitely. Coming into interestingly, I'm gonna continue my boys' school Q love here.
You're just
But
trying to get him on Crest next
I know
season,
I am.
aren't you?
Yeah, just come, please.
Well, I mean, you were asking me earlier as a GM how you make a good team, but your franchise has been more successful than mine. So, is there anything in particular you did to make a good team?
I've got to hand it down to Dino, to be fair. We had a lot of problems with the Crest Elite team, and Frosty has come in with Mezzo and Prizley, and they have done a terrific job. It's been simply amazing. The pros, we started really well. We dropped down a bit, and ever since we've sort of worked on our rotation and stuff, we've come right back into it, and I'm really glad. And we are right up there with chances on both teams. And I think every single team who was in playoffs has a very good chance of winning. Well, not a very good chance, because obviously a 1 in 12 chance, but I don't think people can say it's going to be No Hope, it's going to be this, because there'll be teams will be chucked into the lower bracket, and the amount of games you're playing, it can fatigue, and it's really, really interesting. And excuse me, sorry. But no, and moving on to who we think will obviously get the golden boot, the assists and the saves. At the moment, we have Boyskill Q with 103 goals, which I don't think will get beaten, to be honest. But you have to look at just how well he's played throughout league play, and I think he's been the standout performer just in the elite team. But you've got to look at assists as well, and Dalek with 128 saves. I mean, Cape's not even on that list, Moggy, and we've been Cape is pro, or what am I on about? But Dalek is he's played so well in the elites, hasn't he?
It has, yeah, and I think a big part of that is literally down to the fact of his team hasn't done that well this season, but he's still they must have had a lot of pressure on him, but he still didn't want to make that many saves. And if you look next, just below him, you've got Schism, which is on 112 saves, and for me, I believe he's on Austrian Force. And so the fact that he's in playoffs for elite is that's going to be a big thing. If he keeps up with those saves, that is going to be unbelievable to have, because when if you come up against a team like Warlocks, who have Key and Boyskill Q both in the top 5 for goals, you need someone that's known for his saves and someone that's known for his defense. And you look at Schism and you think he's definitely there.
Yeah, no, very, very solid player. And then moving on to assists, how Boyskill Q has got third for assists and first for goals is incredible. The amount of goals this Warlock team score is simply insane. I mean, they average 3.65 goals per game across league play. Nobody has even got near 3 goals per game. They average more assists per game than any other team in the league, I believe. And the only team to nearly at 2.9 goals per game is Royals. And this is the matchup which a lot of people are saying they will see. A lot of people have been predicting early on that Warlocks will take the winners bracket and Royals will be that team to come through the losers bracket. Would you agree with that, Moggy?
Yes.
I mean, it's obviously, I know you've said different teams and you could see upsets, but a lot of people have been putting their money on Warlocks and Royals, if you had to put money on it.
Yes, if I had to put money on it, I'd probably go bet on horse racing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because you got more chance of getting it right than with the league. But you're looking, personally, I think it's going to be Warlocks Royals for the winner, for the winners brackets. I think they probably going to make the finals. However, you have got a Zero who could creep up. You've also got the likes of, like I said, Supremacy Aztecs, those small teams that could creep up in the losers bracket to make it into the winners bracket. And the biggest thing is that if a lot of people are saying that Royals are gonna make their way up from the loser bracket, but all it takes is for a team to take Royals to game 5, and all it takes is a moment of genius by a team playing Royals to get that extra goal, maybe even overtime goal, to knock Royals out. So although it's good people saying, yeah, it's going to be Warlocks Royals, that's the big thing, there literally could be, because Elite League is so close, you literally got the likes of Zero especially, that could just knock Royals off their momentum and take over that spot.
Definitely. Right, now, it's time for a little section of the podcast that I've dedicated to bullying people's poor predictions. So we will start off with Bridus, because it's always a good one to start, who surprisingly, Moggy, has predicted Warlocks to win. Who would have thought that?
No, really?
No, really. Yep, so he has Warlocks in both the Elite and the Pro to do the double sweep of the entire playoffs and win, which I'm sure will not happen. But
I mean, the
I'll
thing
eat my
is,
words if it
Brydos
does.
could just like copy paste that bracket and just put it on ERLS and say, "Yep, I win everything." Don't do that, please, Brydos. Don't take my ideas.
But
Just cancel the stream down and just be like, yeah, Warlocks win, that's fine.
he has gone for the Warlocks Royals semi-final and the Warlocks Royals final. I think it's time to move on to the Pro League, because I know Tether, you've had an attempt at this, and we can
Oh
bully
no,
that now.
please, no.
So, let's have a look here. So, Tether has gone for an Infinity Shamrock final.
It
What-
makes sense if you look at the bracket, okay?
So, you've got No Hope going through all the way to the semi-finals, and then losing to
They're gonna
Infinity.
crumble.
You're calling a No Hope crumble. Interesting. You've got Warlocks losing to Shamrock, and Shamrock making their way through the losers bracket. Interesting. After that loss from No Hope. I don't know. I can't see Shamrock going the whole way, but you never know. They could improve straight away. Infinity, it would be a good
Yeah,
shout,
but
and you've got them as the winner.
The reason Shamrocks are going to make it all the way, right? They're going to get a load of momentum, and when they play No Hope in the what's it called, the lower bracket final, it's going to be like a massive grudge match because Shamrock lost to them earlier in the tournament, and it's going to be so hype. You got no idea, man. I'm 100 IQ here. I thought this through. Okay, this is not just me pressing buttons.
No, definitely. For all you guys on chat, I'm posting that link in the Twitch chat if you want to have a go, and we'll read out your predictions. And we're going to move on to the Pro League predictions for Moggy. Right, what have you predicted, Moggy? Interesting. So we once again have No Hope similarly reaching the final, and do they win it? I can't remember. Did you put that in for? No
yes, I put No Hope to win.
You've had No Hope on the win. You've had Warlocks losing to No Hope, but then going into losers bracket and losing to Shadow. You've got Shadow on the charge, and it's a very generous towards Shadow, I think, because unless they sort that rotation out like we were talking before, could they make it further in playoffs?
Right, let me explain. Basically, right, so what I've gone with is I think No Hope, for me, starting off, No Hope versus any team at the moment in Pro League, No Hope are strong. They're
Unless
very,
it's
very
Aztecs.
strong.
Unless it's Aztecs. Aztecs just beat No Hope for some reason.
Yes, but Aztecs aren't playoffs, so we're good.
Yeah, sure.
So for me, I can see No Hope just being very strong. Throughout the whole thing, they've got the consistency. They've proved it in league play. Everyone knows that No Hope are a very, very strong team. And then you've got Infinity, and I've got Infinity making that run through as well because they are a very, very strong team. Got the best mechanical player, like I said before, so I think they're going to do very, very well. However, the reason why I've put Shadow there is because I know what Shadow can do, and I know that they're going to work so hard to get this rotation. I'm in their service, so I know they've been talking about this and trying to sort out the rotation. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to come up against Rocket Science, and I think they're going to show off that they work so hard against Rocket Science in their rotations, and they're going to beat Rocket Science. Infinity are then going to basically just say, look, we're a much stronger team, and Infinity will come off against them and just basically stop them in their path. But I think Shadow will use that as a sort of a breath of fresh air. They take that momentum and they say, look, we lost to them. What did we do wrong? We did this wrong. Let's work on it. They go against Divinity and they'll be like, we've got this. They beat Divinity. They take that momentum against Crest. They beat Crest. They take it against Warlocks, and I think they'll beat Warlocks. And then they'll come up against Reflux. And for me, Reflux they've got the players and they've got the consistency in their team. They have trust, they have faith. So I think that Reflux would then make that late push, and I think that'd be just too much for Shadow. And then you'll have Infinity versus Reflux in the losers bracket. Infinity's going to take that, and I think the final between No Hope and Infinity, No Hope are going to edge it with an OT goal in the final game, and it's going to be a Game 5 OT goal.
Nah. It's not going to be a Game 5 OT goal. It's going to be a flip reset from Sirs Light in the final game. Calling it now. Final game of the final. Sirs Light, you better flip reset just to make my prediction good.
Right. If that all happens, I will live stream myself selling my entire Rocket League infantry because.
Yes, let's go.
No,
you just have to give it to us. Give it to us. If I and me or Moggy get every game perfect, you give us your whole inventory.
Now, moving on to a couple more Pro League predictions, because we've had a couple of issues with the Elite League. I've sent out the correct link now, I believe. We're going to go on to Francesco, who's predicted an interesting run. Surprisingly, predicting Reflux to win.
No,
So
really?
It's nice
Never
to know
saw
that
that one
people
coming.
are taking it seriously with no bias. But he has crashed out instantly, so we'll leave that one there. No, I'm joking. And so he has no hope. A lot of people have got no hope just cleaning through that first set of brackets again, with Divinity this time making it into the semis of the losers bracket, with Infinity beating them and No Hope making their way through the losers bracket after losing to Reflux, surprisingly. So Francesco, well done for your completely unbiased point of view. Nice to know people take the predictions seriously.
At least everyone can see that Infinity are clearly going to beat No Hope in the lower bracket final if that happens. Like, everyone's agreeing on that if Infinity make it to that lower bracket final, they're just going to win. Like, I haven't seen one without that yet.
Yeah, no, we're having a couple of issues trying to get the prediction to actually work for the Elite League. I blame Bridus, as I always do.
I do want to just say, because I think we did miss it. Adam, I think I'm going to pronounce that as Dora. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub, and thanks to everyone else who has subbed and we've missed it out. Obviously, if you sub to us and if you support us, obviously it allows us to bring better streams to you guys and make it much more entertainment and just give you a better view of ERLS games and make it so much better for you guys.
And more quality content like this.
Moggy has to walk 5 miles a day. Please donate to the ERLCS Twitch before we all die. Right.
Moggy has to power his PC by growing potatoes in his back garden.
I feel like I'd just like to say, I know Shimmy's on it, but that was an incredible video, and
Can we just play it again? Because that was just
we
so
can play
hype.
it again. And we can do a little run and I'd like to do a little run through, because I'd like to know, was this a fake or was it not a fake? This is what I need to know. This first bit, was it a fake or was it not a fake? Let's have another look.
I was there live. It wasn't a fake.
Still pushing through, trying to break through the deadlock, but Wilbar will put the fourth in with an absolutely fake once more.
It's not.
As time, Egypt is fate. Third line's flicked another, and Ninja will slam it home. That's a beautiful assist. Not quite giving up. It is quite a hard task for a centre combatant. Jaffa, what a double tap from that! First one to it. It's a great shot and goal. And a touch shot. It looked like Tether had.
It's a fake, definitely.
Nah, this Steam Reefer. I gotta say your name, man. He just pointed out the best thing. It's a fake. He faked the fake. He meant to try and go for the fake and then hit the ball, but no, he just backflipped when he went to hit the ball instead of faking.
Right, I'm making a straw poll. This has to be done. Was it a fake? It was very well casted.
That's because Danny was the best caster. It's too good.
Whoa. That's just.
I'm sorry, Fouldsy. I'm sorry, but
no, we're not.
like.
I feel like I'm getting bullied down here. I might.
Your best podcast host.
Exactly.
I'm most toxic. I'm most toxic analyst.
Yeah, most toxic analyst, streamer.
Most toxic GM as well.
This is the first time you have appeared as a caster / streamer, isn't it?
You can hear my horrible voice. Hello.
No, I'm going to vote it was not a fake. Let's have a look what people. 6 votes in already saying it was a fake. Only one person has said it
You need to show
wasn't.
the voting coming in on your stream. Come on.
I can't do that. It's too much effort for me. I'm not.
It's not that hard to set up desktop.
This is too difficult.
Oh, come on, guys. Come on. It's not a fake.
At the moment, we've got 7 votes on. You know what? I'll do it.
It's up to 9, man. Come on, there's 51 of you in here. Why are none of you voting? Come on.
Do you want to send the link round again so we can?
Dude. I think that's the right. Oh, my message got deleted by a moderator. Feels bad.
What?
You can't send links. I can't send
Oh,
links
I can.
anyway.
It's back in again. We're at 63% have now said it was a fake. 37 have said no.
Come on, that's clearly a backflip. What do you mean?
We're gonna, as a caster, I know if Big Mac was here, he would have probably absolutely slain him and just bullied him because he missed the ball and just not called it a fake, because that's Big Mac. We all love him, but we can run. Anyway, I'm gonna move on slightly here. I'll keep you updated on the results and just take you through, guys. I know I spoke a little bit about what's happening on stream, but Tuesday I've managed to get a lovely, lovely schedule. Well, and the media team, not just me. Bit self, but
Wow.
I know.
Ego much?
Ego much or what? But Warlocks are going to be playing. So this Warlocks bracket, I will get this up for you now. Boom. And Warlocks, the winner of Triumph versus Aztecs on Warlocks will be streamed on Tuesday at 7 o'clock with our one and only Big Mac and Stealthy Wolf, who I can confirm will not be using his terrible mic anymore. So we should get hype trains in stream chat right now. And then we've got Austrian against Supremacy, the elite game at 7:45, and R5 versus Shadow. Boys and girls, whoops, best game.
Austrian supremacy.
I don't know, man. They're all gonna be really good. Like I can watch any of the elite games and just be happy, you know.
So, Stealthy Wolf is throwing shade right now in chat. Interesting, Aces has just come in and said 100 quid if Warlocks win Pro or Elite. Come on, don't ignore.
Aces, stop being so attention seeky, jeez. You don't have that kind of money, otherwise you have a PC, not an Xbox.
Aces, if you just donate it on twitch.tv,
Yeah.
if you donate it, I'll look after it.
Oh yeah, if you guys want to know, Stealthy at the moment is helping his mic sound better by using cardboard and curtains around the phone's mic to make it sound better. This is the higher level quality right now coming out.
This is why we need donations. This is why Moggy has to walk 5 miles a day. This is why we need the subs. Follow, get all those bots in.
Yeah. Also, you can fix the lag spikes when I'm streaming if you follow, if you want. Give me money, please.
I mean, it's been a really successful podcast today, actually. We've had a really
I know,
good,
we've had
viewer
great
base.
viewers. It's been hype.
I'd like to thank all you guys for turning up. It's been really good. Thanks for the good response. I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. We've got a little while left until we finish. And we're hoping, if possible, to do one next week, I think, where we will be analysing all of the games and just taking the news team job completely off them.
Yeah.
They're always happy about.
I'll
Yeah,
let
go on,
Nathan
Violence.
know.
Yeah, just sub. No, don't save your sub for Moggy. Sub for ERLS.
Nah, sub to us. Moggy don't need no subs. If you sub to him, Twitch gets the money. He'll still have to walk 5 miles a day.
Yeah.
Just remember, guys, it's twitch.tv/its_Moggy.
Yes, all right. So if you're, I'm gonna go and unfollow you for that, Moggy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, can we all hashtag boycott Moggy, please? And,
Moggy's viewership goes down by like 20 million %. Feels bad.
Moggy, how much of your viewership is the ERLS server?
I don't know, probably quite a bit, to be fair.
Shade thrown there. Yeah, no, my Twitch account is got 1 follower right now. So if you all want to, oh, is it? I've got 2 then. This is impressive.
Oh, hype.
Already doing better than Moggy. It's all right. Moggy, how many followers do you have? Go on, we can have a good plug here if we are going to plug.
I had 195.
195 or 195? The same thing.
Just 95.
Oh, just 95.
I'm 100. But honestly, like, although obviously I stream and I appreciate everyone that does follow me, the main reason that I do it is obviously I want to get myself out there. But you've also, guys, don't worry about me. Look at ERLS, because ERLS, although you guys are helping me, if you help ERLS more, that offers your donations to more people. Because what you'll bring is, if you donate to ERLS, or if you support ERLS, you're giving more people the chance to get better at Rocket League. You're giving more people the chance to prove themselves in a community. You're giving more people the chance to make friends, and although some people do struggle with obviously getting friends in real life, and it is a big thing for them, they struggle with social anxiety, that sort of thing. ERLS, for me especially, I can see it is that people do come into this community, and sometimes there is one or two people that might have ERLS as the only friends they have. They may struggle in real life, and they come to ERLS to escape from that. So ERLS, although you guys may only see it as a community for Rocket League, to some people it's much more than that. And I think that is the biggest thing to consider for ERLS, is that it's not only a community for Rocket League to play Rocket League, it's also a community to make friends and just have a place where you can escape real life and actually just have fun.
No, Moggy, that
got deep.
No, very deep, very quickly. You are pushing for these donations, but no, you are
Give
completely
us your
correct, mate. Yeah, give us your money. No, look, I'm gonna No, I'm quite serious. Like, it is good that the community is just so good, and people rely on this community, and it's really good because it's just growing and growing. Everyone's really nice. I mean, look at this. We are getting 50 viewers constantly today for
That's so
a
good.
podcast. It's really good. We weren't expecting this. We'd like to thank you guys so much. And just before we reiterate the donations, Clappy, we don't need to keep plugging Moggy, please. Let's just calm down with them. If we're gonna plug anyone for money, it has to be Stealthy. If we can get him at least 40 quid just to buy a decent
please,
mic.
get Stealthy a new mic.
Come on, Moggy. You have to admit we can't. I think we should
I think
just.
that the levels of most important is letting Moggy not have to walk 5 miles a day and getting Stealthy a new mic. I think those are the 2 top issues in the ERLS at the moment.
I might start a just giving page. Go on, Moggy.
I'll tell you what we would do, right? Is if we can get, if we can get maybe 55 viewers, or we get a couple more subs, I personally would buy Stealthy Wolf a new headset and mic.
Right, you guys know what to do. I know it's Lucky Bright isn't here either. we can just nick the prize pool for Stealthy's mic. So what, right.
Aces, you have an Xbox. Stop being so privileged.
Can we stop throwing silent shade between you two, please? Just calm it down.
Aww.
We're meant to be interacting with our chat users and not bullying them.
What's the difference?
Well.
I've been taking lessons from Big Mac, okay?
Or maybe we should boycott all of Stealthy's streams until he gets a new mic.
Yeah. Wait, no, that's bad for ERLS.
Oh, no, this is bad for ERLS. I'm not thinking this.
When Stealthy ends up casting finals and everyone doesn't watch because of his mic.
Stealthy will cast finals if he can get a mic. He just has to be.
So what you're saying right now is Stealthy cast finals if we hit 55 viewers and 5 subs and 5 more subs.
Well, we had like 56 or 57. It's been really strong.
Oh, that's pretty high.
We had a lot of people today, and I know.
No. Return of Squeal to cast finals. That would be the most hype.
All I'm saying is drunk dead meat could be returning for a playoff stream. Bring back Squeal so we can hear him chatting in the car on his phone usually. No, I'm not sure we can get high dead meat. I might be able to do drunk dead meat for you, Nathan. Don't worry.
We can just have if we get Squeal make a return, we could get something edited by Shimmy as hype things. We could have him walking through smoke and stuff. That'd be true hype.
I mean, Francesco's just put no, not Stealthy in the finals. I don't want to be called Reflex.
That's the same reason we don't Fouldsy on the final if it's Bloom Pearl Esports.
I'm calling them Cauliflower Esports. I refuse to try. Drunk Meat. I might call him that from now on. But
Yes, this is his new name.
Drunk Meat. It's always good. I mean, Crusty Sports. All right, let's get some chat names for franchises. Who can make the best franchise name by only changing one letter? I mean, I'm gonna have a quick go at this. Anyway, let's have a quick look. I'm going to see. I'm just hoping the predictions have actually decided to work now. So we've got 11 pro predictions, and we have still 3 elite predictions. Right? I think Bridus might have locked the elite playoff. So I'm gonna once again blame it on him.
Just blame everything on not Bridus.
Yep. No Pope from the a more Protestant point of view there from No Hope Boys. Yep. I shouldn't have asked this question actually. There's a chatter taking this one seriously, and half of these I can't read out. Right.
We could fix Rocket Science's spelling of their name.
What
They've got this.
a nightmare. It pretty much sums up their elite season, doesn't it? Shots
I
fired.
thought you said you just telling me to be nice to the chat. What do you mean?
Oh. Bin Sanity or Binfinity. Yeah, oof indeed, Francesco. I mean, you have to feel. I mean, who have been our resident? I think we need to have a minute's silence for the E-Nightmares and the Enigmas of ERLCS.
And Primal Elite, please.
I'm going to see if I can get some sad piano music, and then we can just read out all the franchises that didn't make it.
I do want to say one thing though. I do want to give props to ex Louis on Enigma, because since day one, Enigma has struggled so much with elite rosters. They had Jazz, who for me was just not active as a GM, so they got a load of forfeits because he wasn't telling when to show up. You had a lot of Enigma literally just left, and then Louis was there on his own, literally just got made GM. He had no idea about Elite. I then messaged him and say, look, here's some guys to look at. He then got some guys in who then all left him again. And he was left in such a bad state 2 or 3 times throughout the season. Like, I honestly, for me, he deserves, like, people need to recognize how much effort he put into being a GM. And although things didn't get his way, he never gave up, and he still tried to do the best for his elite team and try and get a team in and players in. So 100%, I've got to give some well done to Louis for sticking up as a GM for Enigma and actually still trying his best, even though he got sent loads of horrible stuff, in polite terms, a load of horrible stuff throughout the whole league, and he still kept going on. He never gave up a GM, so big up to Louis, man.
No, and to be fair, you've got to big up to a lot of these franchises that have had, since about halfway through the season, such a bad start that they had no chance of making playoffs, and for them to still turn up most game weeks and play against the teams that have got a chance is really impressive. And I'd like to thank everybody who didn't make the playoffs for making this league work so well. People weren't, towards the end, people were not just cutting off and just saying, I can't be bothered anymore. People finished it through, and especially Louis, that's a really big thing. However, before we move on, I'm going to read out a couple of these because we have had some good ones, such as Sonic Shave instead of Sonic Wave, which is a good one. And we had one more, if I can find. Yep, the Enigma ones didn't get with a classic Ninja Ligma meme there, but moving that on. Zero Kappa. Interesting, actually.
Lana Del Rey.
So, no, I think to finish, we'd like to know, do you guys have any questions for us about the media team and just in playoffs in general, if you want to ask questions, because I know a bit about them, because considering I've had a talk from Bridus about it. But if you've got any questions for me, Moggy, Tether, about teams, how well you think your team will do, then fire them away and we'll try and answer them the best we can. I mean,
It could be about Rocket League as well. How you think we felt through the whole league, or how you think next season's going to go. How you think it compared to other seasons? Like any questions at all, just fire them in.
so the first question from Francesco, which is probably very sarcastic. Where is Aeon Elite? And we've all talked about this one before.
Maybe they should get maybe they should keep an eye on their sub a little harder.
Nathan coming with who is going to win Elite and why is it Royals? Nice to know people are being biased as usual.
Hey Nathan, I'm just gonna reply. Just go read what you were saying about them in the most recent stream. Like, I think that sums up my opinion on them.
Ooh.
Can we just have a look as well? Go and look at the predictions, and obviously have a read, because there's some interesting Elite predictions, and I think you'll find there is, out of all of them, there's only one for Royals. So, Nathan, yeah, so gonna be interesting, mate. But you gotta look at the predictions, and there's only one person supporting Royals at the moment, mate.
Watch every single prediction be wrong. That's all. I'm just putting this out there.
Wait till the surprise win by. I'm just trying to think who the 16th seed was because I've already forgotten. But whoever, not 16th, 12th seed was. Whether that was easy win to them.
Arctic Mist asking, Rock should be in media team. What do you think? Well, media team are constantly looking for new. If you think you have a good hand at casting or streaming, feel free to chuck me a message and we'll give you a tryout. It's pretty much if Stealthy Wolf could get in with his mic, anyone can get in. So we're
The
all
tryout
good.
tends to be, oh wait, you've signed up and there's no one streaming or
Yeah,
casting
literally.
tonight. Here's the mic, here's the stream, have fun.
I mean, the amount of streams we have got to do, it should be. Well, if Rox wants to be a caster, get Rox to message me and I will talk. So what else have people gone? So a lot of people take it bullying Nathan for his Royals prediction there. Steve Blood coming with Royals Altercation Finals Pro. I've been impressed with Altercation, to be fair.
Altercation are
Crusade,
hard
Steve
work to
Blood,
play
they've all
against.
done well. They are. That Austrian Force game should be really. The team of league play, Crocs, are you talking about Francesco? You don't need to ask where Moggy's Twitch is. He's literally posted it about 17 times.
And he even got told off, feels bad.
Yep. I'm hoping Bridus jumps on him within the next 2 hours. But
Moggy was found banned the next day.
oh no, good question here. Right, Elite and Pro. If you had to pick a team out of the entire Elite and Pro, who would you pick? Your best 3 players. We'll start with you, Moggy. Pick your Elite team. It's a really good question, that is.
What? So the best 3 players.
So no, if you could pick the best person, put them all into one team, who would you pick?
I think Boys School.
Really? Wow.
No, really. Top
Nah,
11 player in the world.
If I had to pick, right, so we're talking 3 players to make a team for Elite. Any 3 players in Elite. Right, I wouldn't pick Boys School. I'd pick Will. 100% I'd pick Will. I'd also probably look at, I'd say Classy. And I'd probably go Key as well. I'd probably go Key, Classy, and Will.
You see, you don't want to overdo it with your goal scorers because it can leave yourself open. You've got to get that. It's the same with like the old Dignitas. You had you had your poppers and then you had Turbo Pulsar. Same name, I know. But a lot of people. So what people say at the moment? You've got Ansap, Cape, and Sphere. Very interesting. Ace has gone with Sir Francesco and Cape. Not sure Francesco's done well this season, to be fair to him. I know he's in chat. Really solid for Reflux.
I think I'd get Leon, Serve, and Cape because that sounds like a pretty good team together.
I get Fouldsy, Serve Delight, and
I mean, I could say myself, but I don't have that big an ego.
no, my ego's almost as big as Moggy's Twitch channel, almost close.
So both tiny.
See, Pro League's gonna be different though. Like you gotta look at Leon, in my opinion. He's 5th for goals, 2nd for assists, and he's 7th for saves. So I'd be looking at like someone like maybe Leon with. I'd probably put Serve Delight there. I'd probably put Serve Delight, Leon, and then I'd look at someone like Rubinovsky or Wizzo.
What about? But why wouldn't you take
George,
Cape? Like
perhaps?
Cape, then you won't get scored on.
Yeah.
Because I think the reason why Cape's done so well is literally because of how he works in his team. I think if you put him with other players in his team, I don't think he'd work as well because of the chemistry they've got together. It's just so strong. Whereas if you have someone like Leon who can make saves, can get the assists, can be that all rounder, and then you get someone with Serve Delight who's got that dominance of being an aerial threat. For me, you need someone that's able to take good, accurate shots. You need someone that's able just to fill in. For me, that second man in defense, and that's what I see from Ruben and Wizzo is that they're not exactly the biggest defense guys for their team, but also look at saves. Cape's made 124 saves. That also shows that No Hope allow people to take shots. Just put it out
I
there.
mean, when we played against No Hope, even like Primal, like we weren't that great, but we were on offense a lot of the time. They scored loads of goals off counter attacks.
Yeah, and I played against them in another league, and that's what I found as well. And I just think if you give someone like Surf Delight the opportunity, if you give someone like Leon, like Ruben, people like that, like Wizzo, for example, as well, if you give them the opportunity to take shots, I think it's just going to be too much.
So what you're saying is this is why Infinity are going to win, because they're gonna beat No Hope in that upper bracket semi-final. See, I've been ahead of you guys with my prediction.
No, because No Hope, I just think No Hope as a team are just gonna. If you
Crumble
watch, if you watch Infinity, they're very, very, very strong on the offense.
Yeah.
However, they've always struggled on defense, and if you've got a team like No Hope who are brilliant with counter attacks, they're literally just gonna have so much fun.
But
They'll
it'll be
withstand the
fine
pressure.
because they won't have any counter attacks because Surf's gonna be scoring everything. Can't score counter attack in the back of the net.
So what you're saying is you're relying on Serve to basically pop off through the whole of playoffs.
Yep, easy peasy. Nah, he doesn't need to pop up through the whole of playoffs. Just versus No Hope.
Well, and all the other teams, perhaps.
Nah, the other
It'd
teams
be
Infinity
quite
don't-
useful.
The other teams don't need Serve to like pop off to like a super high level. They just need like okay play from them all. But like No Hope, Serve just goes God mode and we easily win for Infinity.
I'm looking forward to Solar's Scottish tones when Serve Delight puts in like a triple
When
flip.
when Serve Lights puts the
Oh
flip
my
in
god!
the final game. That is the worst Scottish accent I've ever heard.
I can just see it now. Solar completely going mad over a Serve Delight fee. A Big Mac just turns around. You know, Solar, it wasn't that great. Just a classic Big Mac.
I tell you what, there's one question I do want to ask the guys in the chat, right? Guys in the chat, if you could pick two casters and one guy, say for analysis, out of everyone who's casted this season, who would you put to cast the finals of Elite and Pro? Who would you say is your best casting lineup?
Bear in mind, I'm admin at the moment.
He's still a caster. So the casters you've got, well, allow Danny, although he's only premium one, so you could obviously try and get him in. You've got Danny, you've got me, you've got Fouldsy, you've got Animal, you've got Big Mac, you've got Solar.
Danny Boy's not actually on the on the media team. He came in as a drop in because we didn't have people in, and he kindly filled in for us.
If people want him, we'll get him. I'll persuade him. He's Irish, isn't he? I think.
Whoever just said Stealthy Wolf, there is a very big tradition in Stealthy Wolf. No, like, come on. We all know this. Yes, can we get Baby Squeal casting? That's a 10 out of 10 suggestion.
Baby Squeal. Or change it up. We get just random people to cast. just grab someone in general chat. Get
no,
Shimmy
we just get Shimmy to cast. Shimmy to cast Elite League finals.
That would be so interesting.
Who do we need to cast with Shimmy though? We need a duo.
Wait, we'll get Shimmy and
Big Mac.
Big Mac.
Big Mac. The arguments.
That'd be great. That'd be so interesting to watch.
That would be the most hype. That would bring in the viewers.
It would be. Just
Maybe
Big
we
Mac.
can get Shimmy on one of these podcasts sometime.
Big Mac's just one of those like post-match analysis casters who just ruined you when you've said something stupid on stream. Voice breaks, clip them. He'll just everything. It's impossible to hide from Big Mac. And then when
This is
you
why I
say
don't want to
something,
cast.
yeah, when you say something on just randomly, like you're saying no hope of doing well, 2 minutes later, Big Mac, well actually no hope aren't doing very well. Just is rips me to shreds every time I cast. But no, his post-match analysis is spot on.
Big Mac sees that two people going for boost on kickoff, and is just like, I'm out. This team sucks. Like, oh.
No, I'm hoping next week one of our guests will be Big Mac, who will hopefully come on and give us some brutal honesty, as he always does.
I don't want to be here when Big Mac's on. I'm just leaving.
Yeah,
I don't want to get bullied.
So no, I think we're going to head towards a finish here, guys. We've got one or two things we need to talk about. Thank you everyone for coming. It's been really enjoyable. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. If you've got any stuff which we can improve on, feel free to message me or Moggy or Teva, and we can have a look at it. We're hoping next week at a similar time, as long as I'm not watching my football team and crying as usual. But no, it's been really enjoyable. And just a couple of plugs. I'm not sure if Moggy wants to do the plugs because he's always good with plugs.
I'm just not gonna be quiet because I get told off.
Oh right, okay.
We should, however, call out our two partners because we're partnered with the Rocket League. I mean, this is the ERLS.
This is the plug I'm on about. Go on, Teva.
Yeah. See, I know what you're on about. Yeah, so we've got the two partners. We've got the RLCD, which is a coaching Discord. You can go like find people to coach, or you can coach yourself, and it's totally free. You can find a link to them in the on the Discord with under the partners section, which I know is super hard to find because this server's got too many rooms, but it is there. And the other thing you've got, and I'm not even going to try and say his name because I will get it wrong, but he streams on a Fridays and Mondays. He also has a YouTube channel, and he has 4 Facebook groups where you can do PC people, the Xbox scrubs, trading groups where you can go like get all the cool. I don't know how trading works, man. How does trading work? I don't know.
Oh, I spent a long time doing trading only to get my account hacked and lose it all. So, Ollie does have to walk 5 miles a day. If you'd like to donate Rocket League items, my PMs are available on Discord. Spam this Froggy to help out Moggy. Is now flying through chat right now, Moggy. So
I think that's the more PC one that's in chat right now.
yeah, it is. But we'll spam F to pay our respects for Moggy, who's about to get destroyed by the committee. But
and Stealthy's mic.
yeah, and Stealthy's mic. But no, it's been really nice talking with you guys this evening. Thanks very much for joining me, Moggy and Teva. I've enjoyed it a lot.
Fun.
And hopefully we will see you guys next week. So I think we will call it there. Moggy, Teva, anything extra to say?
Join ERLS, guys. It's the best thing ever. Yeah, go us. Woo!
And with my ears just completely destroyed there. We will
my
see you guys
ears.
next week. And make sure you tune into all the streams we're doing for playoffs, because there will be loads, and I will keep you all updated by pinging you multiple times. And hopefully we shall have a very successful playoffs. And good luck to all the teams competing. See you later, guys.